Why is Sean Diddy Combs all of a sudden Hollywood's bad guy, facing charges that could put him in jail for life, while the elite get away with it? What if I told you Diddy isn't the genius after all? He's just a pawn in a dark game to hide the real Tinseltown puppet masters. People, get ready, because this plot is bigger than you think and you might not like the truth. We haven't even begun to talk about all the things this case will touch on and affect. That's why you had to attack me. You promised to do all of those things and get out of jail if you did them. We're going to fall down the rabbit hole and take the curtain off of one of the sexiest Hollywood plots in decades. Today, we're going to look at the shocking idea that Sean Diddy Combs, the hip-hop mogul who became a media target, is being thrown under the bus to protect a secret group of Hollywood's untouchable elites. We have questions, dates, and receipts that will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about fame, power, and betrayal in the entertainment business. When did he start to be the bad guy? Let's start at the beginning. The events that led to Diddy's downfall are so well planned that it seems like they were written by a Hollywood screenwriter with a grudge. Gene Diddy Combs made a lot of money with Bad Boy Records. He was once the golden boy of hip-hop. In the 1990s and 2000s, his famous white parties were the best thing to see in town. He also had design lines. Diddy was untouchable. He hung out with famous people like Beyoncé and Jay-Z, as well as government leaders. You can't forget about Oprah, Prince Harry, Ellen, and all the other big names that were around Diddy, and not just at his public parties. We're talking about starting a business, doing interviews, and working together. We can't think of a big-name star who wasn't a part of Diddy's world. Even Leonardo DiCaprio was there. Now, though, in November 2023, the cracks start to show. You all know who Cassie Ventura is. She used to be Diddy's girlfriend. In her shocking case, she says he raped her, beat her, forced her to have sex with male prostitutes while he watched, and did many other things. This case wasn't just a start of a fire, it was the main spark. If you fast forward to September 2024, Diddy is caught in Manhattan on federal charges of racketeering, sex trafficking, and transporting women for prostitution. The 14-page charge sheet reads like a crime fiction. Authorities say Diddy ran a criminal business for many years, abusing, threatening, and forcing women with his huge wealth, and his employees and friends reportedly helped to hide it. But then there are the strange facts about the 1,000 baby bottles. People who broke into his house found oil and lube. I guess that's normal for a music mogul, right? Here's where things start to look fishy. The takedown happens so fast it's crazy. Within a few months, Diddy goes from throwing galas with lots of famous people to being locked up in a Brooklyn jail cell without bail. His trial is set for May 2025. Shouldn't that feel a little too easy? Why is the government moving so quickly against Diddy when other high-profile cases take years? And why do the news stories always talk about him but not the many famous people who partied with him? For decades? Is Diddy willing to die for a greater cause? The main idea behind this plot is that Diddy was set up as the bad guy to protect the real powerful people in Hollywood. So, there's a lot of truth to it. Think about it. Diddy's white parties weren't just parties. They were networking hubs where politicians, actors, singers, and business leaders mixed with each other while drunk and having a good time. If you believe Diddy's charge, these events were also the scene of crimes like sex trafficking and abuse. Now for the million-dollar question, if Diddy was in charge of this alleged crime ring, how come none of his famous guests saw anything? Are we to think that Al Sharpton is one of Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, Jennifer Lopez, Ashton Kutcher, LeBron James, and so on? Guys, this covers a lot of ground. Should we really think that they didn't know what was going on for decades? Do any of these people have any idea what Diddy was really up to? So you're telling me they were just dancing and drinking cocktails, not knowing about the supposed orgies and forced marriages going on behind closed doors? Is it more possible that Diddy has been left out to dry to keep the attention off of the bigger names who were involved or even helped with what was going on? Do not forget that the government and most people have not talked about it. People who were children at the time are now coming forward, and some have been coming forward for years, to say that they were sold through Diddy's parties, long before we knew about all the weird stuff that happened. For years, these people have said that they were part of a group that would bring kids to these freak shows as party favors. Diddy was having freakouts in more than one place, and with more than one person, but Cassie hasn't said anything about that with hers. It wasn't just Cassie. Some people even say Diddy's arrest was meant to take attention away from the 2024 presidential race, which makes it sound like he's a scapegoat for some dishonest politicians. Then there's Uncle Luke and 50 Cent, who both say that Diddy's legal problems are related to the lawsuit he filed against Diageo, the big spirits company, for racial discrimination in 2023. This claim may have angered the wrong powerful people. It's hard not to wonder, is Diddy being sued for breaking the rules, or is he just being used as a victim to keep the real corporates out of the public eye? This plot isn't just a bunch of wild guesses, so let's talk about proof. There's smoke here that makes it look like there's a fire going. First, the charge isn't very clear about the other people involved. It names some of Diddy's workers and business partners, but not a single famous person or powerful person who could have been involved in the alleged freak-off parties or some of the trafficking. So why is there no sound? If Diddy had been running a crime ring for decades, wouldn't there be a way to find other criminals? Then there's the 2016 surveillance video that shows Diddy hitting Cassie in a hotel hallway. This video came to light, just as a lot of cases were being filed. No doubt about it, this is very bad news. But why did it take so long to become public? What else could be on those tapes that the police aren't saying? Who do they look out for? Another red flag is the sudden rise in ideas that connect Diddy to a lot of deaths, from Tupac's to Kim Porter's in 2018. Porter, who used to be Diddy's girlfriend and had some of his children with him, died of pneumonia. But there are rumors that it wasn't just pneumonia. You need to watch the movie I made today about this. For years, these rumors have been going around, but all of a sudden, they became very strong. People were saying that Diddy was involved in that murder and a lot of other killings that have happened over the years. People have said and heard similar things before, and some have even seen or heard some of the things that have been said. But the government didn't pay any attention until Cassie filed her lawsuit and some others. In one of them, Little Rod, Jones named Lucian Grange, who pretty much runs the music business, as someone who would come in and have private freakouts with Diddy and himself, which suggested that Diddy was part of a bigger music business network. He wasn't born with the freak-offs. He was trained to do them. He learned that this is a way to keep people in line. I've already talked about this, but I'm going to go into a lot more detail about it now. It's possible that I'll have to do it on Patreon. This is something that YouTube doesn't want people to know, so I'll let you know. But there is a detective named Whitney Webb. She has written many books, but One Nation Under Blackmail Volumes 1 and 2 are the ones that stand out. In them, she carefully explains how the government, including our own and other governments, uses blackmail to control politicians and Hollywood stars. It's not just a guess. These aren't just social media rumors or chatter. She has tapes, documents, and other things that have been made public by our own government, things that our own government has agreed to, that she says connect the mob. It's really crazy. Not long ago, this was all. I will say this. She wrote those books because she wanted to learn more about Jeffrey Epstein and the group that helped control and expose him. Her book is only one piece of the puzzle. Other witnesses, who were children at the time of the trafficking through Jeffrey Epstein, also have a lot to say. In particular, Jeffrey Epstein, as she was breaking this down, it began to spread to many other groups, not just the government, but also the music business and Hollywood. I think it was about a month or two ago that Whitney Webb put out she writes a very long piece that shows there is a clear link between Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy. I don't want to call it an article. Now, this is not just a guess or a rumor. There is solid proof that they were connected and that Diddy was used as a puppet to control the hip-hop business, music, and especially the Black community, with many different things. Guys, it's really cool. I already said that I think we should do it on Patreon because I will never be able to say these things in public. Even now, the movies I'm making about Diddy get taken down for no reason. As you watch one, and some of you even say in the comments that you're watching a video when all of a sudden it's taken down, I have no idea why. This is just a story. I'm not saying anything crazy, but YouTube will just shut it down. I will say that the people in charge, the puppet masters, or the people who press the button will do that. I have to keep changing and uploading again and again to get rid of words and ideas I don't want to talk about. Guys, keep an eye out for the Patreon. I might add the link here so that you can check it out, because it's important that we talk about it. I'll let you know as I add more content. For now, there isn't much there, but I promise to keep you up to date. Going back to the idea that things are planned, let's not forget the strange Justin Bieber song, Lost Myself at a Diddy party, that went popular after he was arrested. Some people will say, oh, that was just someone on social media or putting that together. You should not think that the things that people post on social media are just what they want to say. That's not true. A lot of these things are started by the puppet masters, which I would call people in the music business. You need to know how public relations work, like how they go into forums where you think it's just normal people talking, but they're really ops people who have been sent. They actually see it like how they catch animals that are dangerous. There will be government agencies or agents that go into these groups, talk about things, and try to get these pedophiles to confess so that they can be arrested. They're not like other people. We've seen the same thing happen with other drug and gang operations. It looks like a regular person sent it, but it's actually a fed, an investigator, a police cop, or someone else. They not only watch social media, but they also try to direct and control it by making up stories and then getting bots and other people to spread them. But you have to understand that all of this started really picking up speed around the time of Diddy's arrest, the raids on his home, and the lawsuit from Cassie. The AI-generated content just looks stupid and all that. Is all of this real? Or is it meant to hide the real people, the real criminals, who set up and have been doing freak shows for decades before Diddy joined? What does this mean for the movie business? Let's break this down. What's the point if Diddy is being killed? Why do the rich and powerful in Hollywood need a fall guy right now? Why do they want to hide so badly? People in the entertainment business have always looked out for their own. Just look at Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, or even R. Kelly. However, those people did bad things in plain sight for years before they were caught. After all, their crimes or claimed crimes had been known for a long time, often decades. So why did their cases come to light at that point in time? The government and the feds had seen these things before. But it just seems so strange that these well-known guys keep taking these falls at the same times, and it looks like they were meant to be a distraction. Just like every year we're getting something new to keep our eyes on this instead of that. It doesn't feel any different with Diddy. It's like they know they're distracting us so we don't look deeper. Also think about this. People didn't just hang out at Diddy's white parties. They were also places where deals were made, jobs were started, and a lot of these secrets were kept. If the claims are true, these events could link a lot of powerful people, politicians, CEOs, and maybe even police officers, who gained from the culture of silence. Always keep in mind that Diddy has threatening tapes on all of these people who took part in these things. We don't even know the names of some of the important people. Why can't we? They did it when they went in. There were more than just movies of Cassie. We already knew that from the raids. Reports and statements from other people say that Diddy had cameras inside and outside of his house, in different rooms, the hallway, and even the bathrooms, and they were set up in different ways. Remember how I said that one country was being blackmailed? This is how the government normally does things. It goes all the way back to J. Edgar Hoover, when they would try to figure out a person's sexual preferences, like whether they liked men, children, or something else. It was possible that they were just cheating and having all these orgies. It got so bad that the government was setting up these events and filming them to use as leverage against people who were running for office. Okay, it has to do with the mob and many other things. In other words, Diddy's sexual bullying is not a new thing. This is how the government does its job. You already know that they have tapes and other proof of other people. Why hasn't it been brought up? Is it because a lot of these famous people have stopped working for the government? For years, rumors have been going around that Diddy has been a government informant for decades. Some people who used to work for him have even said this. Did it all begin when he was just starting out in the music business? The higher-ups turned him down because they knew they could use him as blackmail proof by getting him to go to these weird parties and sexual blackmailing. This kept him in line. Because he had a bad mind, he didn't just back down or get scared. It gave him the power to do these things to anyone who crossed his path. It took him decades to gather all of this information on these different people, from all of these tapes. Again, I want to say, look at how quiet Hollywood is being. All of Diddy's friends and people who were connected with him wanted to be in his circle. They were proud to be in his videos, work with him, give talks, support him in different ways, and congratulate him. They all made sure they were close to him, but now they can't say anything. I just made a movie of Jamie Foxx making jokes about Diddy trying to kill him, the fact that he left Diddy's parties early, and the fact that he doesn't even like Baby O. Then there's a quote about Baby O being on pizza, which you already know. Which one do you think I'll talk about on my Patreon? That one will definitely be taken down from YouTube. As you think about how this whole thing worked, those raids on Diddy's house make you wonder, were they meant to get back all the blackmail proof he was already giving them? It doesn't make sense. There needs to be more victims once more. From lawsuits, we even know that there are more names. There are people named in cases that the government is ignoring, but instead of looking into a lot of people, they are only looking into Diddy. Why aren't the police looking for the party list? Where are the papers for the famous people who washed up with him? Also, why does it seem like the media has been told to make Diddy the only bad guy, like they did with Jeffrey Epstein? We know he wasn't by himself. It smells like a cover-up the more you look into it, and the more the Hollywood elite don't say anything, the more questions we need to ask. This is where things get even messier. While Diddy isn't a saint, he's also not the all-powerful mastermind that the cops are making him out to be. He was praised for many years as a visionary and a black businessman who turned a side job into a billion-dollar company. People paid attention to him, artists loved him, and he had the power to make or break lives. How did he become the bad guy if he was so powerful? How does a man who it seemed like no one could hurt end up in jail while his friends stay quiet or get away without getting caught? There is a clear contradiction. Either Diddy was the boss of his criminal kingdom, or he was just a small part of a much bigger machine that the real power players didn't care about. Let's also talk about the time. Why now? Why is Diddy? There have been rumors about Diddy's bad behavior for decades, from the club shooting with Shine in 1999 to how he treated singers like Mace and the Lox. That being said, the walls started to close in after his Daggio case and Cassie's claims. Could it be an accident that he fell out of favor at a time when people have little faith in institutions and want someone to blame? Or is this a planned move to make us feel good? Now that Diddy's head is on a dish, let's not ask any more important questions. We'll no longer look for bigger fish. Hollywood's lies are coming to light. To be clear, this is all very frustrating. Movie stars love to talk about fairness, justice, and holding abusers responsible, but when it comes to one of their own, they shut down faster than you can say Oscar speech. The stars who danced at Diddy's parties shouldn't be so angry, right? Where is the support for the alleged victims in the same business that pushed for the Me Too? People in Tinseltown only care about one thing: staying alive. The eerie silence is proof of this. If Diddy is guilty, he should have to pay for it. Don't believe that he is the only one, though. There's more to this than just one man's crimes. there's a system that lets strong people get away with things like throwing Diddy to the wolves to keep the attention off of them and on us. The fact that we're clicking on every story and sharing every meme shows that they want us to be participants in the game. There's no way for us to not dunk on Diddy. Why aren't the next person in line in the crosshairs? That's the real question. Now hold on, because this is where things get a little crazy. Online, there's a rumor about a Diddy list, a secret list of famous people who are said to have gone to his famous parties and may be connected to the same crimes he's accused of, or even worse. No, this list hasn't been checked, and it might just be made up on the internet. But let's be honest. I always say that where there's smoke, there's fire. So, on my channel, I've started to do more than just report on the Diddy case. I'm also making links to all of these famous people who have stopped talking about it. We're going to talk about politics now. Not only will we talk about Hollywood stars and music artists, but also these business leaders. After them, there is another layer. People no longer believe the official story, and they're beginning to wonder if Diddy's arrest is just the beginning. What if this list really exists and has names on it that are so well known that letting everyone know about them would bring down Hollywood and the government? We're talking about businesses going out of business. What if the government already has it but is keeping it to themselves for their own reasons? Even stranger, some people say this has something to do with the California fires, saying they were planned to destroy proof related to Diddy's Home Hills mansion. Doesn't it sound crazy? But with such a dangerous case and so many questions still open, you can't help but wonder what they're not telling us. There is a lot of information out there that says these flames were not natural and happened on their own. They fit with the plan by Governor Gavin Newsom to build a fast train through California. At the same time, they were trying to build this new vision for Los Angeles, but people didn't want to sell their homes so that this vision could come true. But since the Olympics are coming to LA in a few years, there is a lot of proof that this was done on purpose to destroy where LA used to be and build something new. This way, the government can pay people back for their property and maybe not even have to pay them the full value of their property. Again, is this a way to get people who have lived in these homes for decades and don't want to move out? For what reason do they want to control them and use them to reach their bigger goal? There have been times when I wasn't able to keep working on that study because there was so much going on. However, I am once more taking that into account. Before you write it off as a plot, I'm telling you that something very bad happened. There you have it. The plot that Diddy is being killed to protect the rich and famous in Hollywood. The political elite were stripped bare for you to chew on. Should he get what's coming to him because he's a monster? I believe that he is. But I also believe that he is just a piece in a much bigger game. Although I don't have all the answers, at this time, I do know one thing. The truth is out there, but it's not in the news. But tell me, what do you think? Why do you think he's being treated like a pawn? Is this just an attempt to draw our attention away from what's really going on? Because we're not paying attention to the things going on behind the scenes that they don't want us to see? The mainstream media is known to be involved with this. Even now, they don't care about the hard facts. Not just about Diddy, but also about many other cases, like Jeffrey Epstein, where they tried to make it look like he was just one man doing all of this sex trafficking. Without a doubt not. As I said in Whitney Webb's book, One Nation Under Blackmail, there are 2 books that are sure to show all the links and networks. A woman, actually a man, went on the YouTube show of another woman and talked about being trafficked as a child with some serious, well-known names. She's talked about this for many years. There was a man who went on her show and has been talking about it for years. He says that he was born at what you might call a feeding farm as a kid. All of these other kids were born into this, and they have been sexually abused their whole lives. Good morning, guys. They are taught this from the time they are born. It's really dark and scary. Again, I'm not going to give any more information here. It will be on one of my other sites, like Patreon or somewhere else. He says that Jeffrey Epstein was a part of that and was trained in the same way. He's from that place, and the things he talks about, the things he said were done. How some of them were just, I just can't say it because it will bother people so much it's not even funny. But different people have confirmed these things, but the government still doesn't care about them. You have to wonder why these people aren't being heard. It's like they support women being raped or the Teen Me Too movement. These were all things that our government pushed at the time to keep us from paying attention to what was really going on. Then they will ignore everything else that's going on and only talk about these things that meet their needs. It makes me feel worse every time I look at it. At one point it scared me, but really, who will speak out, keep asking questions, and keep digging if we don't?